Hey, the band is back
Look
together.
who's here.
Wow, welcome
Look
back.
who's here.
It is
I'm not even giving you a clap today because my
Whoa, we're
He just
starting
came out firing.
yes, I came out firing.
Oh, wow.
Grouchy.
I'm defending my character. I mean, it's unbelievable. You guys went after me last week.
What?
It's ridiculous.
Joe, you didn't tell us that you were going to be out of town.
Time out.
This is
time out.
People
time out.
look forward
First-
to seeing your face.
Yeah, I understand that.
and
I
hearing
understand.
that beautiful
I understand.
angelic voice
it's
of
an
yours.
angelic.
Whoa.
But hey, it was a little miscommunication on that one.
Or not in.
Dina,
Yeah.
Dina,
There's a
Yacht.
little miscommunication
Dina, Yacht,
on
can you
that one.
please get your husband a calendar?
Okay, no, it was a miscommunication on it. And then I was on spring break. I was gone regardless.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, hey, Joe just forgot. Like this whole angle, Joe just forgot.
No, you just forgot to tell us.
Joe
Yeah.
is
I told you.
50-something
Here's
years
the
old,
thing.
and he still gets spring
Here's the
break,
thing.
and I just want to not
Stop
work
it.
on
Here's the
Fridays, and
thing.
that's an issue.
Listen, at first I was pretty frustrated, but as I've taken
What
some
are you
time,
frustrated
as
for?
I've
I
taken
was
some
on
time
spring break.
to think about it, you know what? I can kind of see it from Joe's side.
Yes.
We are just blessed that Joe decides to come here when he does.
That is
fair.
very.
Like we
That's
don't,
fair.
like
It's very fair.
at this point at his
true.
advanced age, we can't expect him to change now.
See, you know what? You say
This
something,
is what
you
he
say,
is.
You say something nice, and then you follow it up with
Yeah.
at his advanced
I like to kind of
age
give you a little
Joe.
juke.
Yeah, then you
I like
start
to
going.
juke you a little bit. Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Hey, bringing the conversation back to the Flame Central
Yeah.
podcast powered by
That's
Alcova
right.
Mortgage. We have an incredible guest today. It is head football coach Jamey Chadwell. Some great in-depth conversation on the portal, what this team looks like,
it's
who's
good.
here,
It's
who's
good.
not here, the starting quarterback battle. So much that we got to talk about with Coach Chadwell. So be sure to tune or stick around for that. Like we said, great to have Joe back. Joe, you missed the Masters dinner menu. I don't know if you listened to
I
my
saw
like
that. Yes,
detailed.
I did see
What
that,
would be like your quick hit me with
Oh.
like your menu?
On my menu,
Give me a couple apps.
I
first
would
course.
go. I would go with the bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers.
Yeah,
Ooh.
big
Ooh.
Right.
Oh, I think I
those-
had that too.
and then we're gonna go ribs, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta have baby back ribs, right? And then we got mac and cheese. You gotta have mac and cheese.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go pulled pork or pulled chicken.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I say. That's solid. Just
like
a
it.
solid
Little barbecue
solid
action.
Barbecue.
I'm coming.
Little barbecue action. Hope everyone had a great Easter holiday with their family.
Lemon squares for dessert.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
can't
Oh,
breathe.
you know how
See,
I feel about
I
lemon-
knew
lemon
I was
bun.
going to
Yes.
touch when I said
Yeah.
lemon squares
Yeah,
for dessert.
that's
Matt
good.
Warner's a big.
Are you guys back
big-
okay again?
He's big,
Big
yeah,
fan.
oh, yeah.
We're on the
yeah.
same
Are you
page.
guys-
Yeah.
He
you
used to
guys
come
back?
when back in his JPL days.
Yeah.
That when lemon squares, he heard there's lemon squares. Once the last point was given, he was in a full sprint.
I didn't
to
mess
to
I could
grab a
totally
lemon
see
square.
Matt.
Oh, he loved.
Yeah.
He had a root beer and a lemon square.
true.
I mean, that was
True.
standard procedure for Matt Warner.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Sandlot movie or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
exactly
like,
what it was.
Yeah.
after a game. Some people say that lemon should not be part of dessert, but I kind
Stop.
of because I love key lime pie. So
Key lime
I'm,
pie's unbelievable.
Oh my gosh! But
Oh.
if you see a key lime pie and it's green, you know they don't know how
No,
to
they
make
don't
key
know
lime
how to do
pie.
that.
Key lime pie is supposed to be like a yellow.
Mama, key lime pie. That's a Kenny Chesney song. By the way.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit around the Diamond.
Yeah.
Softball hosted Sam Houston. Those games Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Took 2 of 3
Right.
from the Lady Bearcats, and then baseball on the Diamond.
Lost 2 of 3.
Lost 2 of
So
3.
2 things real quick there, because we all want to get to Jamey Chadwell. I think we understand that. Softball, they split the first 2 games. Everyone's like, oh boy, they've never lost a series
could
in
be-
Conference
on.
USA
There was like
history.
14
Could
straight.
this
Come
be
on.
the one? It wasn't the one.
No, it's
it
not
wasn't
the
the one.
one.
God's got
Come on,
it.
God's
We're
got
fine.
it all
We're
under
fine.
control.
Now for baseball, you lose 2 of 3 at La Tech, and you're feeling like we could have very, very easily swept that series. You blow a 2-run lead in the 9th in the first game. The second game, or the third game, I should say, you had the bases loaded there at the end with an opportunity. So pros and cons, you look at it 2 ways. Like, man, we kind of could have won that series very easily. At the same time, you're saying, we're right there.
Right on
Like,
the
you're
edge.
right there.
Right on
on
the
the
edge.
road, tough environment, Louisiana Tech, one of the top tier teams in this league. You're right there. So
But where are we at with the standings?
Baseball standings, softball standings. Let's get
well,
updates.
the standings for
Now we're-
softball, that's
updates.
pretty easy because the Flames are for sure in first.
yeah,
We're
you
talking
almost can't.
baseball.
Head and shoulders.
Only the
Yeah.
top 8 of 10 teams
Yeah.
make
Where we
it.
at, Matt?
We're in 8th right now.
Really?
But But you have a 2-game lead over Middle Tennessee, which is really like a 3-game lead because we swept them. We have the tiebreaker. But you go a lot of baseball left. You have Kennesaw State.
It's gonna fly by.
Kennesaw State at home this weekend. They're in 4th place, 10-5 in the league. So that's a good program. You've got to. I feel like you're kind of reaching that point where you're like, man, we got to start winning.
What's our league record right now?
We are 6-9.
So 6-9. So a little bit below 500.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, my question to you, Matt. Let's just say the Flames make the tournament.
Yeah.
And make a decent run, but lose. Is the at-large bid? It's out the window, right? Because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you.
And I looked. I think I saw in the Baseball America poll that all those ACC teams we had beaten, I don't know if any of them are ranked anymore.
Yeah.
So you go Kennesaw State, 3 with them, so they're 4th in the league. Sam Houston on the road, that's the one you got to take advantage of. They're last place. They've been the worst team in this league all year long. You got to take care of that.
Sweep the Bearcats.
Then you're at FIU for 3. FIU right now, they're 1 spot ahead of us, so they're in 7th. So you've got a chance before you finish up with Dallas Baptist, which they're great.
Right.
You've got a chance to make some money here and win some games. So you got to take advantage of that.
I mean, I just don't want to play with fire here. I mean,
Get in. You're fine. Just get in. Just get in.
No, I know. I have no problem with as long as we get in. But playing with fire to get in for a CUSA tournament that you're hosting is just it
what
makes
does the
me a
coaches
little uneasy.
always say? You just want to get a little bit better, and be playing your best ball. If you can be doing that, you're at home.
Yeah.
Hopefully that counts for something. Right. You can get on a little run.
You don't run.
And you'll be fine.
It's all timing.
It's all about timing.
You got to get hot at the right time.
Right.
Baseball's a different animal.
Speaking of getting hot at the right time,
because
that's a good transition into Liberty Golf in the conference championship.
Come on, Flames.
Killed it in the first round. They have to win the tourney, you would think, to get into a regional, which they would are hosting.
Right here.
So, got to take care of business, but a great start for them. We mentioned last week they played in an event at UVA, and it was their best team finish of the year. Like, maybe they've turned a corner. Maybe it looks that way.
11 under at day 1.
Yeah.
I heard that my husband, Jason, spoke to them before their CUSA championship first round.
I would love
about
to hear
albatross.
what Jason's pregame.
Because you heard, right, that he got the I'm at 7-Eleven and I heard your husband got an albatross in Boonesboro 10, and I'm like, he's like getting a plaque like in.
Well, I saw the Facebook
fairway
post.
10.
Yeah, I think we all saw that.
Oh man, of like
I
golf.
hope
What a great game! And what did he post for our anniversary yesterday? Nothing.
Getting a plaque in the fairway. What are you talking about?
I hope when little baby Cud shows up here eventually, he posts as much about that as he has about the
How
shot
much he's
he
obsessed
made
with golf.
at Boonesboro Country Club.
I doubt it. But yes, the Flames started off hot, 11 under. I think the second place team, Middle Tennessee, is 3 under. So speaking of being playing well
golf
at the right
is a
time.
long journey. You got to get the job done.
Yep.
And I'm getting updates from my good friend Robert Goodman.
He's there. He's on site.
There.
Yeah.
He's on
beautiful.
site.
Texarkana.
He's like, guess what happened though?
Where is it?
Texarkana.
Guess what happened though? Robert Goodman, our good friend Robert Goodman, brings ice to the JPL every Tuesday.
Yes.
Right? He's the Iceman. He's the Iceman of JPL. He doesn't show up last Tuesday. Guess what?
There's
no ice.
Yeah.
It's warm drinks.
Ooh,
yeah,
and
so we
it's
gotta
warming up.
Yeah, and it's warming up. It was not a good situation.
Rough.
And that's on me.
I leave and this place just falls apart. This used to be a professional operation, Joe.
Hey, the last thing that's getting hot before we get to this conversation with Coach Chadwell is the market. So if you're in the market to buy a new home, I have a guy for you, Joe Yock, for Alcova Mortgage.
Yeah, that's fantastic transition, Emily. Thank you so much. Yes, if you are a Liberty employee, alumni, staff, we're close. We close another one coming up.
There you
another
go.
one, and this is a big one. This is a good one, and they're gonna save. I can't remember. It was $4,800.
Wow.
Right off the bottom line.
Yeah, real cash.
Here's $20,000. No, I need 20. I only need 16.
Yeah.
It's almost too easy.
Yeah.
Alcova.com/Liberty. Because tell them, Emily, why? It's almost
too easy. And now it's time to transition into the topic of the day, and that's Coach Chadwell. We haven't caught up with him about some football news, so let's get to that conversation now. We are so excited to have Coach Chadwell back on the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
He's back.
He's back. So much to talk about. I feel like we haven't had you on since end of last season. So we've been through spring. You guys do an early spring. My question to you, Coach, is why? Why do you do an early spring, and how does it help with like the portal and the day and age of what college athletics is today?
Well, I don't know if it helps or hurts with the portal, but I like personally, and we've done it now. This is probably 11 years we've been doing an early spring. Now, part of it was started when we were in South Carolina. It was warmer.
Right, a little different.
Right.
It was warmer.
A little different.
And so it didn't matter as much. Obviously, when you're here and it's a little colder, but having the indoors has been huge. But from a development standpoint, you get them back from your bowl game. Of course, we played late bowl games the last couple of years. And then you're able to sort of see where your team is, who's new, who's left, what can we do, what we can't do. And then you have from March till the end of April to go back through all those things that you work through the spring. Where if you're in a normal spring, you do these practices leading up to it and you're trying to introduce everything. And then when you're done with spring, you have an idea, okay, we're good at this, we're not good at that, and you got to wait till the summer to work on it. I can start in March, our team can start in March. Hey, these are things we weren't as good at. Let's really focus on these the next month and a half, and hopefully you really develop a team that way and guys can get better at what the areas they need to improve. Hey, we're good at this, but we need to improve this. You get more time to work at it. And then secondly, our strength coaches love knowing from March till August, it's a complete conditioning and lift cycle. There's no breakup of football and all those things. They really enjoy that. They feel like it gives them the best chance to get a team ready for a season. And then if there's ever an injury, it's an extra month or so. We were done, March 6th. Most people just finished their spring today, this week. And so that extra month could pay off from a guy coming back from an injury or anything that way and be able to play in a season. Especially now, if it's a young guy and they get 4 games to play, maybe you can get them back for those 4 games. And so I think there's a benefit in all those areas.
Anything change, your third spring here, how much, I guess, does change year to year? What was there a change in focus or the way you approach things? Like how much does that change year to year based on maybe what you saw the previous season out of your group?
I think it changes, a lot. Your first year, you're just trying to figure out everybody and what they can do and what they can't do. And then you got
to
guys
do that every year now.
Well, you do, every year now.
Yeah,
I mean, every year it's
like.
And then, your second year, you got a good base and you understand. Then you try to, hey, what can we do beyond that? And then this year is more, all right, a lot of new guys, some things that didn't work the way you want them to work. You want to fix those, make sure it doesn't happen again. And so you really focus on those things. And then as you said, you lose so many people that maybe you weren't. You are starting over in a lot of ways. And now you got to find, all right, what are we going to be good at? There's certain things that we have to be good at. But as far as the structure and some of those things, it's similar. We did change this year, like we changed up how we did things this year as far as our whole off season. We did it different than probably we've ever have. Just one, because hey, we wanted to have a different focus on certain things, and then two, we do so much football.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think there can be football overload for a player, and you want them to be hungry to do football instead of, I got to do football today. And so we tried to change it up a little bit from not necessarily the practices, but after practices were done and your OTAs, of having more of a focused day of football. Right? Hey, this is our football day. We call it Football Friday this year, and it's Football Friday. And you Monday through Thursday, it's lifting, it's conditioning, but Friday is Football Friday. And let's be excited about being out there and making sure they understand and enjoy the game. And there's a lot of pressure on them, a lot of pressure on us as far as because it's a big deal, and want them to still, hey, it's still a game. Let's have some fun doing it, and we'll see how it works. We liked it, but we'll see. We go out and don't go well, and we'll scrap it and start something different.
Sometimes they do slam dunk contests.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed,
Yeah.
we did not get an invite, or was it us? An invite back to judge.
Well,
I think I was too harsh.
Judges,
I think I was too harsh year one.
Yeah, Matt was giving
Well,
out like
you know,
shoes.
You try to get a lot of different people involved.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, this year we
Coach.
invited Coach McKay, and it was so bad he disappeared on us.
left?
He's gone.
He was supposed to do the. I got to call him. I got to call him out right now,
do
Richie.
that. Yeah.
He was supposed to do the flop contest as well. We couldn't find him. We had to get it.
All of a
Get
sudden,
down
he's
the
out the
flop.
door with the belly flop
I think he watched the dunk contest and went, God, this is terrible. I gotta go.
I can't
No,
be associated.
he was great, and but you try to get different people and different judges. You don't want them to think the judges are biased by any means, so you got to rotate it around.
See, and I was going to ask
I
you,
gave
and this
everyone a
ties in, so much of life is about growth, right? Like year over year, how can you improve? We now have 2 years of tape of you doing a belly flop. Do you feel like there was growth?
No.
Year 1 to year 2, where have you gotten better? How, if you break it down, what do you see?
Well, I was prepared for the diving board. I think last year the diving board threw a lot of people off, so I was prepared for it.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I did too much of a spring, and I almost went
Over-rotated.
I really face flopped and not belly flopped.
Yeah,
right?
it was more of like
I
a
thought
half swan dive.
I got too much height. Maybe
Too
I just
athletic.
Maybe
Maybe a little too
maybe I've
athletic.
been lifting too many weights.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and so,
I've been in those shoes,
but it was I didn't flop the way I needed
Okay.
to. So I learned from it.
Okay.
Coach, that year after, though, you can tell the second year, you've definitely been in the weight room. You've been working hard, and we appreciate that. And we really do. We really do. But the question I have, in the changing college football landscape, from when you started as a coach, you obviously have the principles of how you build a football team. How have you seen, or have they at all, those principles change because it's all just so different right now? Or is it like, nope, this is the course we're staying? Like, how do you develop a team in this type of landscape?
That's been extremely hard. Now we don't compromise on those principles. Maybe I've not done a good job sometimes of being as strict on them as I need to. I can say that myself, that things that if you look, I need to be better at, but I've not compromised those because I do believe with all the change and all the different people coming in, if you don't have something that you're standing on, there's no way to have any chance of having a team that's connected at all. And even as, I look back from 1 to 2, and what did we finish last year? 3 losses in conference last year, and all of them we had a chance to win the last minute, right? And so even last year, I thought our principles gave us a chance, even when it was getting attacked, from the inside, to be honest with you, and they gave us a chance to win. So, I think every year those values that we stand on give us a chance, a fighting chance, and so I don't compromise on those at all. And in fact, this year I dug into them even more. I think we've dug into them more because I believe that gives you a chance when you bring so many new people in. It can't be just about winning. Because as soon as you're not winning, or as soon as that person's not winning individually, guess what? Then it divides, right? And so we dug in even more to that. But I think there's different ways to implement it. I think that's what I have learned over the time is it can't be at the certain way that you've always done it because you got so much change going on. But you do have to make sure that you're solid on what your beliefs are, and you can't waver on those.
With that being said, what do you feel as if right now the current state of, not as a football team on the playing field, what do you feel your current state is as a coaching staff with the locker room?
I would share that I believe everybody, our staff and everybody would tell you that this has been the most enjoyable spring we've had in a while. I think that the guys returning knew that, hey, there's some areas we needed to improve, and they were ready and willing to make that happen. And then the new guys that have come in have embraced that piece of it. And so I would tell you that I think this team is connected now. I don't know if we're going to be any good yet, but it won't be because there is not everybody going in the same direction.
Coach, looking back to last year, you as a coach, your mindset, how would you describe just this season and going from a perfect season to those 3 conference losses? Did you experience a lot of frustration, or?
Yeah, you know what? There was, just because you feel like, if you look back at it and you're 8-3, you lose a game by 3 points, you lose another game by 2 points, have a 2-point conversion, a chance to win it, and then you have the ball on a 4th and short versus the other one in under 3 minutes to go, and have a chance to win the game there. So you look back and you're so close of maybe being 11-0 again. You really are, but I look back more on, hey, what did I not do well to help us win those games? And then, or what did I allow? Because ultimately it's on me. You look back and I would tell you, my word this year is joy. Okay. We do a word for the year, mine's joy. I didn't have joy last year, and that's my fault. I allowed circumstances or things to make it, tough. And so I said this year I'm not allowing anything to take the joy away from and coaching and being around the guys and then having fun with that. And so, but you learn from it. Hey, why did we put ourselves in that position? What did I do? What I need to do better? And there was some frustrations. I felt like we did everything we could to get the team trying to play together as much as we could. It was hard last year, but you figure and you learn, and we did. I think and also I think our players are returning knew it too, and I think that's why there's been a renewed sense of joy from them, because they do know we might not be as let's say talented on paper, but there is more of a closeness and more of a connection, more of a chemistry, and you win ultimately with connection and chemistry.
Yeah, that's kind of like us. We don't have a lot of talent, but we have the chemistry.
Yeah, some days. Yeah. Joe brings the joy.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the joy guy.
For fans, I was so much of college athletics in general, and we've said portal 5 times already. I hate that that's what it is, but that's where we are. Take me to the kind of inside, behind the scenes. Fans see, here's a tweet. This guy's going in. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, for you, typically, how does it work? Do you typically know well in advance? Are you finding out when other people are finding out? Like, when do you typically know, oh man, okay, this guy's going in or likely going in, so then you can start to prepare to like either try to find somebody else to replace him or make some sort of adjustment? Like, when do you kind of find all these things out?
Well, we lived and learned on that as well. The first time somebody tells you, don't worry about it, I'm not going in, you believe them.
Those days are over.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed.
Once you get through the January or the December portal and what team's coming back or who's coming back, then out of those that come back, you have an idea. Okay, they didn't probably find what they're looking for, so they're probably going to go back in. And so you have an idea based off of just some of those conversations and what happened in January and all that. So I would say there's some anticipation of who went in. There was an anticipation of that, and there was a plan for that in certain ways to know that's happened. Doesn't mean you want it to happen.
Sure.
You'd love to. Hey, because anytime you lose good players and people that have contributed, you don't want to lose them. But also, we want guys that want to be here. End of the day. And if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, we know how that worked last year. Yeah. And so hey man, if you don't want beer, go. And so I would tell you there's not been any surprises of anybody that's went in.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we didn't want them to go in.
Sure.
But I would say there's not been any surprises of the people that are going in. And so do we have a plan to replace all of them? Maybe. We've been working on some things, whether we did that in the January portal or we've already behind the scenes knowing this was happening. So anybody that's went in, we've already started evaluating people and, hey, is this a guy a good fit? So I think we have a better plan as far as who went in and expecting it to go in. And now you got to go find the guys that want to be part of your program.
Yeah. What are some of the names of the guys that that impressed you in the spring that you say, we may not know who these guys are coming into the fall? We're getting ready to play football games, but as the fans look out on the field, who are some of the guys that have really shown up?
Some of the new guys.
Some of the new guys, or guys that maybe was a role player last year that has stepped up into a more important
role. And if you want to use the Flame Central podcast as the platform to name the starting quarterback,
we're always here.
We're here.
Yeah. So, and obviously there's a quarterback battle, and I thought Ethan. You have Ethan Vasco. You had Ethan Houck. Mike Merdinger was here. And Ryan Berger missed most of spring. Jaden missed most of spring. And so those two guys weren't in the battle. But I thought those guys had a good battle there. And we got a good, healthy competition go through spring. And they'll happen in the summer into fall camp. That's a wide open. But I think anybody, we know Ryan played a little bit last year. We know Ryan's a good leader. Ryan's improved. Ryan's gotten bigger, which he needed to be, stronger. And then those other guys bring some good qualities. Mike has got great leadership qualities, and man loves football. Is always trying to find a way to get better. Obviously, Ethan Vasco's played a lot of football, which is good. You want somebody that's had some experience. And then Ethan Houck and Jaden haven't played much, and so they're both talented individuals. And the challenge I think Coach Korn's going to have is when do we cut those reps down and find who the 2 to 3 are that are going to get those reps and really vie for it. That's going to be the challenge there. I would say that if things go right and he stays healthy, Juju Gray's going to have a huge role for us.
Okay.
I think as you saw towards the end of the year, we sort of found his niche there after he got back. Caden Williams had a great spring, who's a redshirt freshman at running back. Had a really, really good spring. Excited about what he can do there. I think you're going to like some of the new receivers that we brought in, and the guys from last year that we had an up and down year at receiver last year.
Right.
And it wasn't because of lack of talent. I think we missed some opportunities there. But I think as a group, we added Casey Kane came in that has the potential to do a really good job. But guys returning, Elijah Cannon, Tyson Mobley, Reese Smith finally hopefully going to be healthy. I think we're going to have enough there that they're going to surprise some people there, the way they work and the way they're better there. I think the key is going to be who's going to step up and be the one guy that can make the play when it matters. We won't know that till first game, but hopefully that'll happen. But and then I think the next piece is who's going to solidify the offensive line position. We brought in some new guys there, and they're in a battle. But that's going to be the key is who ends up being those five. But Aaron Fenimore is the leader of that group. He was an All-American as a freshman. They're a freshman All-American. And he was former Pioneer champion.
Takes you place.
He lost this year in one of them. He didn't need pie. He lost this year, so he didn't.
His focus should be more on the
back-to-back.
field at this point, I think.
But he's the unquestioned leader there, and so we got to solidify. We got some good pieces. We got to solidify who those guys slot in there. But I think defensively, we got a lot of guys there that battled and did a lot of competition. Obviously, we lost a lot of D linemen in the portal here. We've lost 4 or 5, I think, 3, 4, 5 here. And so there's some guys that are young there that we're excited about that I think have a chance to be some pretty good players. And you just got to see what happens with them. But I think the talent's there. I think the talent's there. I don't want to mention any names yet because you just never know. But I think you're going to see some guys that maybe redshirted last year that come in and then have an opportunity to do some good things for us.
Good to know for our Flames fantasy draft, 6th annual.
We need to know those things.
Joe Yock finally won 6 year or 5 years in.
Total domination, Coach. Now, so with offensively, like you said last year on the show that, it's hard. Defenses, when you have an offense like yours, are unique, different. You had so much success with it. But you know this well as a coach that whenever there's a unique type of offense, sometimes it just takes the defenses a little bit time to catch up to it and figure out how to defend it better. And are you seeing that more with your style of offense? And then the other thing, how do you adjust to that offensively? And then you had said last year, like, hey, what teams are doing to us is they're going to make us plod our way down the field. They're not going to let us get beat over the top. So a couple things. One, how do you combat that? Two, have you found that receiver that you feel as if can take the top off and get downfield that can then open up things to be able to help your running game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we never thought our offense is unstoppable by any means.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it's a new and it's unique, it takes, as you said, people trying to defend it certain ways. I still think every week, as you mentioned, people, hey, we're not going to get beat big plays.
Right.
All right. We want to see if you're patient enough or you can continue to hand it off. And in certain games, we did that well. But there's certain times that, hey, you needed to be able to make a play down the field. And for whatever reason, we couldn't do that. And whether we just misread or misthrow or we didn't make the play when it was there, that happened at a decent amount throughout the season. And if one of them are there to make, maybe you win some of those, right? It changes, yeah. Right. I mean, we were in all of them.
Right.
It wasn't like we were in every one of them and had chances. And so the question mark there is, do we have that receiver? I don't know yet, but I do think we have the pieces in place where maybe we can put some of the receivers that we had last year and we tried to play them and maybe in an area that they weren't as comfortable with. I think now we can put them where they probably are more comfortable, and it does give us a chance to really, all right, if you want to play us this way, we feel like now we got some matchups that we can take advantage of. Now we got to obviously make the throw and do all those different things there, but I don't think we were a great offense by any means last year. I do think we had opportunities every week to win the games, which is the end of the day is what happens. We went back and looked from a rushing standpoint. We really struggled to throw the ball. and we were still top 5
In
rushing,
the ball,
which is
right.
crazy if you
Right,
think about
right.
it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You think-
Yeah.
And if we were able to make some of those plays down the field, then I think you're right where you wanted to be, and in the balance and having some of those things. And we just couldn't do it for whatever reason. And but that's been a big emphasis this offseason.
Matt, what else you got?
No, I guess just last thing, Coach. Like as we head towards summertime, like what excites you most about this time of year? Like what does it look like for you? You talk about joy being your word. Like what brings you the most joy looking at the schedule and what's coming up for you in this program?
When summer starts, because then you know who your team is.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So June, let's say June 1st, and everybody's here, and they start. Then at least you know who your team is there. I think right now, between now and the portal closes this Friday at midnight. Between now and then, we hopefully we got nobody else that goes in. Maybe we will. We'll at least know our current team.
Yeah.
Okay, we know who they are, and then we got to obviously supplement. I think between now and then, it's a scramble to go out and find out who the supplemental pieces you need to come in and help your team. And once we get to June, then it's all right. This is our team for 6 months. Yeah. Now you got
That's a wild statement.
Yeah.
Like this
I mean,
is our
it is.
team for 6
Yeah,
months.
and so then you got really a chance to help the additions you have. You hope that the ones that are here, all right, they're sold out to what you are and what you believe in, and then they can bring in those additions. Say, this is how we do things, and you got a chance to mold those for the next 4 months: June, July, August, 3 months. You got 3 months to really, all right, this is who we got to be and who we are, and then hopefully, build up for the season. So that piece is exciting in June, and now the coaches are on the road and you're bringing people in. So there's some excitement about that, but there's also some
Uncertainty.
yeah, because you're like, I wish we're going to pick this guy and he wants to come. It doesn't happen that way, And so, but I'm excited. I know the Lord's going to bring us who He wants us to have, and He's going to help us. The ones He wants to stay are going to stay. I believe that, and the ones that wanted to go, they wanted to go. And so I'm excited about that piece, that He's going to, hey, this is who we want you to have, and go to work on building a young man, and go to work on building your team, and then we'll figure it out in 6 months after that.
Do you want to announce a clear starter before the season?
Yes.
At quarterback?
Yes.
Or have you ever done sort of like, hey, let's give this guy a shot, like if it's really close?
No, I think it's important. We've had a 2 quarterback system before, and it worked. We were fine, but I think in today's day and age, hopefully somebody wins that job, and you're able to announce that and say, hey, you're our starter. Because I think if it's more of looking over your shoulder,
Yeah.
which in any job you do, when you're looking over your shoulder, you're not going to be successful, because you're so consumed by what if I don't do well, instead of consumed by, hey, I'm going to go out here and have a lot of fun and enjoy what I'm doing. So our goal was to name one, probably 7 to 10 days before the first game. Hopefully if that works out, which is basically after your second scrimmage. You got 25 practices in the fall, so you hopefully name it by practice 16. You got all summer, 16 practices. Hopefully somebody's
Stepped up
and done that, and it's solidified. And if they've not, then you keep battling up to the last moment. But hopefully somebody throughout practices and all those is hey, you're the clearly defined starter, and you've earned that right to go out there and take advantage of it.
Coach, we've heard it all through March Madness with college basketball coaches, but for football, what is your proposal in terms, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but what's your proposal to change the portal or the transfer window, whatever that looks like? What would be ideal in your situation?
I think if they just went to one.
Okay.
One window.
All right, let's look at this Tennessee situation, right, with what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
If you only had one, then they do all that stuff in December, January, and you get all the negotiations, you do all that stuff, and then, hey, we agree, you agree, you're here, we got you for a year.
Yeah.
And then the next January, you want to go wherever? Because most college coaches want you in January, right? I mean, typically, if you're coming, if somebody says, hey, leave Liberty and come to West Coast or wherever, you're coming as a backup. I mean, typically, because they need a spot. They need a plug-in, right? Typically.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for us, when we lose guys, we're losing starters typically. So for us, we're trying to bring in starter-worthy guys. It's different they're looking for depth, and so I think if you did the January, everybody's in the same window. I mean, if you look at the coaches that are at the highest at P4s, they're negotiating with their best players because they're just trying to get money out of them, and they agree to something. They go on the portal the first day, they agree, and what you wait and see this Friday, you're going to see some people go on the portal from these highest level because they're just trying to get more money, and they're renegotiating, which that's their right. But I think if you had some type of structure there where it's, hey, you got one opportunity, you can negotiate as much as you want, and
it's set for a year.
And then it's set for a year, and then you know your team from January to December.
Yeah.
Is being
it's not asking a lot.
Yeah, I mean, just January.
Realistic.
You know, and I don't know if that'll ever happen because I guess legally, you know, can you take away some of their freedom to do some of those things? I don't know, you know, and then if not, then you got to get into, I guess, contracts have to be legitimized, and then you're into employees, and nobody wants employees, and so it's an interesting factor. So, but I think that would help a lot of the.
Oh yeah.
Because to me, the biggest, it's not them getting money out, it's the tampering piece.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the biggest piece, the tampering. So, hey, well, I didn't call you, but you had this guy call this guy. Hey, if you'll come, all that stuff. And so, to me, the only way you can try to take that out of place is you only have one, and then nobody can do it. Your team's your team. You know, we might need better players at certain positions, but we don't have them. So you go back to what you got to do. You got to figure it out, you know, and then in January you start back over. And so I think that would be great. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think it still gives players the flexibility to go wherever you want and go make as much money as you can. But also it gives, I think fans, because I think fans eventually they love football, but they're going to get tired of every. I mean, you look at the Tennessee situation. That guy they loved him, and now, hate him over 4 months later. You know, I mean, because of the situation. You avoid a lot of those things. You know, I think if you had one, but we'll see.
Is contracts the answer where you can sign a freshman kid, a transfer kid, and say, hey, you're on a 3-year deal, just like the pros. They want to treat it like the pros, just like the pros. They sign the contract, and there's no way to get out of that until after the contract.
I mean, right now they tell us they're non-binding, so it doesn't matter if they sign one or not.
But if they could say that, hey, legally it goes through the courts, that this is binding, that you got to stand just like the pros, so they're treated like the pros, that it's binding. Is that the final answer for you as a coach to be able to go, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with. I'm just a pro coach now.
I mean, it could be. I think if it depends on what stipulations are in there as well, because I'm assuming they'll want stipulations in there as well, and all those things, right? Well, if I'm gonna sign a 3-year, then I only want to practice. There's a lot that goes on there, right? I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
And then maybe do you want to sign somebody to 3 years?
Right. That's all part of it.
I mean,
you pay a guy a 3-year contract and he doesn't play well.
How long you been on this show?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I haven't renegotiated my contract once.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't work Fridays.
Contract.
Yeah, so,
Joe's window is just extends forever. Like there is no
Well, that's there's nothing.
He's like the Diego Pavia.
Yeah. Keep coming back.
And so it's I mean, I think eventually you have to get to something from that standpoint. But it's is it if let's say they're a year, is there a window where other teams start to negotiate with them?
Yeah.
There's a lot, there's a lot of things. And so I think the way the structure is now, the one portal would at least give you have a team for a year.
A little more structure,
Do you have confidence that this will eventually get worked out where it's like, okay, at least now we know what we're dealing with?
No.
You don't.
It's a mess.
No. Just because you every time you put something forward that there's a lot of sense in, somebody sues about it.
Right.
Because they want the money.
Yeah.
And it's these people that their only care is about that, not necessarily anything else. And so I think that and the Supreme Court put in there whatever it was way back then, and so I think everybody's so worried about, hey, this won't pass, and that's why the NCAA's done this, because they get every time they get sued, they lose.
Right.
And so there's been a lot of challenge. I think it has to come from top down, from a Congress standpoint, has to put some stipulations. And the NCAA's trying now with the way the money's supposed to be, right? So the max is what, $20 million for the P4 schools. Well, I can bet you a local lunch that everybody's going to go over that, because what happens if you do?
Yeah, what's the consequence?
What's the consequence? Right. You go win a championship, they're not taking it away from you, and then What are they going to do to you? Oh, well, you can't give that much money again? No, they're just going to sue again, and so you're not going to tell me what to do. And then, so I don't know right now. I mean, right now I don't know what you can do, to be honest with you. But I think I think majority of players would agree to a one portal. I think they get tired of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a select few that take advantage of the spring one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the part of it that people don't even understand. It's only a few that actually it benefits.
Yeah, and so I think that would, at least in the current structure, hey, you come into Liberty, you're here for a year. You know, you come here in January, you're here from January to December. And if you love it, great. If you don't, then you got an opportunity to go somewhere else in January. The whole problem with all that, what they talk about, is because all schools start different academic calendars.
Right.
Yeah. Where in the summer, everybody's typically out in May. So it's an interesting piece.
It's kind of a mess, but we are grateful to have Coach Chadwell and his incredible staff here on the mountain to sort it all out and bring in the best players. And it's exciting to hear that there's a good locker room chemistry and good guys in there. Okay, I know you're taking your staff on like a little outing today, golfing. Are you a good golfer, Coach?
Oh, he's terrible.
I'm not.
If you could
I'm not
be
terrible.
If you could,
He's got a bad shoulder.
I'm a
though,
better
Coach.
pool basketball player than he is.
yes, we know
That's
that.
true.
Okay, so if you could go
That's fair.
professional
That's fair.
in any sport other than the NFL, Olympic diving, and pool basketball, what would it be?
You know what? Golf would be a great one because
Yeah.
if you watch all those guys, most of them are skinny and they're tanned.
Yes.
And so.
Well, I don't know if all of them are skinny.
Well,
Some
most of them.
are.
Most of them, yeah.
Most of them are.
most of them are pretty
that would
small.
be a good one. You know what I think would be a fun one? I think a beach volleyball would be fun.
Oh yeah, I could totally with the puka beads.
Yeah.
I could totally see
Because
Coach.
you're great. You're out in the sun. You're having a good time.
Yeah.
But you remind me a lot of Iceman. You know, from Top Gun when they
God
had the
rest
beach
his-
volleyball.
God
Yeah,
rest in peace.
A little Karch Karai, but Iceman and Top Gun scene one, you know, the beach volleyball thing they had going, Tom Cruise, that whole thing. Yeah.
Put
You
oil
and
all-
Brad
put
Queen.
all on your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Brad Queen
Oh my
remind me
gosh.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
I don't know what.
Maybe we can recreate
Queen
that.
could be Goose. Maybe.
Yeah, Queen is Goose.
He died in that movie, right? Yeah. He did.
That's right, he died.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. That's when you're in 4th and 1, right?
Yeah.
4th and 1, you're talk to me, Queen.
What's
to
it
me,
say
Queen.
to do here?
Yeah.
Go for it. Shut up, Goose.
Shut up, Goose.
Coach Chadwell, thanks again for your time.
thanks a
Great
lot.
to have you on and catch up with you. And we'll definitely see you again before the start of the 2025 season.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Always great catching up with Coach.
No doubt.
It will be interesting to see how he scores on his round today with the guys.
There's a
Not a lot of confidence I didn't sense.
Yeah, I don't think he liked that you were hating on his golf game
Well, he's
there
got
a
a
little
bad
bit.
golf game, but in his defense, I know he's been having struggle with his shoulder. A
Yeah,
little bit. He's
because
got a
you
little shoulder
don't
in-
probably something that you did in the pool
you may
basketball
have
game.
injured
Do we need to I think we talked about it once, but it's a classic.
When you were
story.
drowning him?
It was me and Brad Queen versus Coach Chadwell. I think it was Coach Lynham, I believe. I may be wrong about that. But it came down to crunch time, and the score was tied, and it got pretty heated in pool basketball. And Coach Chadwell posted me up on the block in the shallow end, right? And he got the ball, tried to make a move to the hoop. I got a hold of him and put him under the water.
Yeah.
Now, you would think that
This
he
is
could-
like the second time he's met Coach at this
Right.
point.
He'd been a coach
right?
for like 2 weeks.
Like-
I didn't know him. I didn't know. We're competing.
First
now.
time meeting.
And it's two competitors going at it, right? And so while he's under the water, he was under the water for a while, right? And one of the other coaches looked at my wife watching the game from the side of the pool, and he said, "Hey, your husband's about ready to drown the coach." like it was like that was going to be it.
That was it.
And but he popped up. Give him credit. Give him credit.
Yes, he is
made
alive.
the shot.
He was on the show.
He made the shot. Made the shot. They won the game. And once they won that game, he's never let me live that
Yeah,
down.
that's true. That's true.
There's
Well-
even an autographed football in my pool that says, "I've always beaten you at pool basketball, Jamey Chadwell." That's how he signed it.
I love him for that. Well, it will be interesting to see how this team shapes up and shapes out throughout the summer and into fall. I guess it makes it exciting, all this like crazy portal madness.
We got a lot of information on that podcast.
Yeah, that was,
I mean,
that
there's
was
a
good
lot
stuff.
of good info and a lot of insight of what like goes through the mind of a head coach when having to deal with all the moving parts to this whole thing.
I mean, I don't think I would do it very well, handle it very
No,
well.
yeah,
I guarantee
I
that.
They're
would
not
be
gonna
an
handle
emotional
that
roller
well.
coaster because listen, like,
No, we all are
okay, so
agreement
your
here.
strength is your D line, and you're talking about that all spring,
And
they're the most experienced probably on the team, and then they're just all gone.
No, I
It's
think-
almost like a domino effect too. Like when some guys get in, I feel like other guys are like,
There's
oh,
a
like
little
I'm
FOMO.
Yeah,
And
there's
guys are like, oh wait, he went in. Well, what? That yeah, I think there's some of that, and that's also why I think that a lot of guys end up at worse situations than where they
Yeah.
started, just because of that.
I also,
Bad
Listen
advice.
here, young folk. It is not the grass is not always greener.
I also think this to encourage Liberty fans is that, especially within the group of 5, that you are going to lose players to the power conference. That's just the reality of what we live in now, okay? But the encouraging part to Liberty fans is this. It's happening to everybody who's in that same boat.
Right.
Okay? That they're going to get their best players, a lot of their best players are going to get gobbled up by the Power 4 conferences. Okay? So then what it comes down to is who adapts the best, who has the best coaching staffs in order to help their teams be the most successful when you have to deal with these type of problems. And I'm going to put Jamey Chadwell's staff as a whole up against anybody in the country to say that nobody will do a better job of coaching a football team to get them prepared to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
that's all I have to say about
it's great
that.
to hear too that
Hashtag bottom line.
you're not going to, Jamey Chadwell and this staff, they're not going to skip out on those principles, and that was, positive to hear. Speaking, let's transition to tennis. The CUSA Championship was hosted here in Lynchburg at Liberty the past weekend. Under Dash Cannell, the Lady Flames fell to number 1 FIU. The Lady Flames were the number 5 seed, fell in that championship.
Oh,
Or semis. They were in the semis, right?
That was the
Yeah.
semis?
Yeah.
yeah. Good fight.
Oh,
The
and
men
then
made it to
the
the
men were
final.
in the championship
Yeah.
final. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. I get thrown off, when we're on
Who
Tuesdays.
did the men lose to?
They
Middle
lost
Tennessee.
to Jacksonville State.
Do we have to do
Oh,
this?
no.
Are we going to do this live
Sorry.
on the air? Do you want me to do this?
Sorry, Middle Tennessee. Yes,
Yeah.
I had the wrong. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
I left.
pregnancy brain. That's been the go-to.
Pregnancy.
Yeah.
20-week
Yeah.
ultrasound.
Yeah.
So terrible.
September cannot come fast enough, and I'm taking a full 3
man.
months
Yeah.
away from.
Ultrasound. Jason's gonna play golf. Which one is it gonna be?
Okay, we are going to the mailbag now.
Yes, quickly, mailbag.
I
Two
hate
things.
you.
Our buddy Reese emails us. First
Reese.
off, he took issue with
Reese,
something.
your son?
Yeah, Reese.
No, not
I
Reese.
bet it's
not
Reese
Reese.
Bradman.
It is. Bray Brand. Yep, Bray Brand. He took issue with something I said last week when we did our Masters
for him.
Champions Dinner. Apparently, I know the dessert as puppy chow. He is very staunchly against that and says the snack is known as Muddy Buddies. Didn't know that.
I didn't.
I don't know. Maybe it's
yeah.
a geographical thing like pop and soda. And I don't know. But
Muddy
he wanted to try to
Muddy
set me
Buddies?
straight there.
Way to go,
Okay,
Reese. That's
Reese.
the way it
Also,
sounds
he wants
straight.
to know if Joe and his Reese will be attending the Atlantic Lacrosse Conference tournament again this year. He said he's seen you out there.
Yes. That's this coming weekend.
Yeah, so there you go. At City Stadium.
Yeah. So yes, we were gonna try to make
good.
an appearance. So that's always good.
That's good.
And you know
You missed
the
last week, our lacrosse player.
We had we were deep into
Tava.
lacrosse last week. We
Yeah.
really could have used your expertise.
Yes, and
people don't know Joe has been a lacrosse broadcaster.
Yeah.
I've been a lacrosse broadcaster, and I'm currently the head coach of the U12 Forest
Okay,
Cavaliers.
so I'm not going to throw
Yeah.
out any names, but one of my neighbors was telling me about you being the head coach
Really?
and was like, just really, really hard on my son.
That's right.
You're darn right I am.
You know
Okay.
what? He's
You're not-
pulling
Like the
great
kids are
things out
trying
of
in
him.
the.
The kid, there's no crying lacrosse.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm hard on them. I give,
Joe.
and you know what the word we do word of the week, right? So we had practice yesterday. Word of the week was they all came back from spring break, right? They were on spring break.
You were
last
on
night.
spring
Yeah,
break
I was
too.
on spring break too, but you know what? I still show up and I bring the energy. These kids are sticks dragging behind them. You know, we started with
No
we started running
lollygaggers.
right out of the gate.
That's right.
We're bringing the energy.
Yeah.
The word of the week is grit.
Right.
We're
We
gonna show a
go
little
till somebody
grit.
pukes. That's when practice
Thank
starts.
you.
It'll start when one of
These
you
two?
pukes.
Thank you.
These two
If
both
we could ever
coaching their
coach
kids.
together,
I
if
wanna
we could
talk
ever
to
coach
Oh my
together,
There's a
gosh.
chance we could make that happen.
if we could ever coach together,
Talk about lawsuits.
we would run a talk about winning.
Yeah,
one.
right.
Talk about winning.
Winning
talk about
and then
talk about
lawsuits.
running a tight ship. 2, and talk about angry parents 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're
If you can check all those
trifecta.
boxes, Matt Warner, you've had a successful
Yeah.
season.
You should, if you need a word this week, use Coach Chadwell's joy.
Yeah, joy.
Yeah, brighten it up a little bit after
We
grit.
will use that for the plan.
The other quick question is more of a statement, I guess, from our boy Mark Mad Dog Murdoch. He wants to know, are the days gone? He goes, in pro sports, you hardly ever see a guy stay with one team his entire career anymore.
Yeah, not happening.
Is that just a pipe dream now in college athletics? Are you ever going to get a starting level player? You think of like a Kyle Rowe that stayed for 5 years. I don't think it's gone.
Zach
Gone.
Cleveland.
I don't think it's gone. I just think
it's similar to the NFL. It's an anomaly a little bit.
Yeah.
But will Patrick Mahomes stay with Kansas City for his entire career? Potentially, yes. So there are some guys that it'll happen to.
it's just going to take the right
I
time.
think it's
and
gonna be-
and it's going to be like, okay, we have the opportunity. If you're at a big school, you have the opportunity to be most successful, and they're willing to pay you what they feel as if your value is. And then who best prepares you to get ready for the NFL?
Yeah.
Like, why bounce around if you're making a ton of money and you're in a good situation and you're going to be a first-round draft choice? Yeah.
I think the difference is when you're in the NFL, you're in, obviously you can switch to a better team, but you have like the Tom Brady's, you have the Patrick Mahomes, you have the Aaron Rodgers, who are with the same team their entire career. I think towards the end, they'll bounce around a little bit like Brady and Rodgers did. But at the end of the day, in college, if you have a great quarterback at this level, the mid-major level, you are going to bounce around because you're going to go up. If you're in if you're at the professional level, like you can't get more professional. You can go to a better team. But for the most part, if you're a really good quarterback, you are on a good team with the Bradys and the Rodgers.
And that's a good point, because that's two parts of this. If you're playing at an Alabama or a Tennessee or a Georgia or somebody, there's a good chance that you could stay, because that's like you're always in the hunt to win a national championship.
Right.
Well, your point being that if you're at a G5 school or a smaller school and you're one of the best players, somebody's paying you more money to leave and giving you a better opportunity in the NFL. So yeah, I think you won't see that with the best players at some of the smaller schools.
And sport to sport, it's different.
Emily, that was actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Wow.
Oh my!
I'm
speechless.
I think we end on that.
Yeah.
think we
Okay.
have-
Thanks
Let's
so
ride
much
that
for
into
listening
the rest of the week.
and watching. Who knows if Joe will be here next?
Ride that into the rest of the week.
Who knows if Joe will be here next week?
Stop
but
that.
Matt and I
Just stop it.
will. Is that it? Really?
That's
Do we
it.
have anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Thanks again
It's
to
the
Coach
Flames.
Chadwell.
It's the Central.
It's the
podcast.
podcast. And it's powered by Alcova Mortgage. We'll see you right back here, back to Mondays next week.
Peace.